Public transport in Athens. This most complex question will be answered by me, Georgios Piridis Besborodko, the author of perhaps the best guidebook to Athens in the world, in this video, with all the finest details revealed. The first and most reliable form of transport in the Greek capital is, without a doubt, the Athens Metro. Its first line was opened back in 1868, just 6 years after the famous London Underground began operating. And this line connected the port of Piraeus with the Theseo station. In fact, it still connects them today. The Theseo station is not very far from the famous ancient Athenian agora. Of course, over time this line was extended, and today it runs between the Athenian suburb of Kephysia and the port of Piraeus, from which ships depart to all the Greek islands. This metro line will be very useful to you if you stay in one of the central districts of the old city, such as Monastiriki, Ammonia, or Victoria. Of course, God forbid you do that, and I'll explain why separately in a video dedicated to the best areas to stay in the city. Starting at the port of Piraeus, this line passes right through what was once the main city square, Monastiriki, and Ammonia Square. So, in general, these are probably all the metro stations that will be useful to you during your stay in the city. And at Monastiriki station, the green line meets the newer and more modern blue line of the Athens Metro, which, along with its sister red line, was opened for the Olympic Games in Athens in 2004. Unlike the green line, the blue and red lines are completely underground and are equipped with air conditioning and modern trains. However, tickets for all three metro lines are the same and are sold at multilingual machines at the entrance to the metro stations or at ticket offices, which are even sometimes open. But if you, like me, are an introvert and value your time, then of course use the machines. On them, you can choose from a variety of languages: Italian, Russian, English, German, French, or Arabic. You can also use metro tickets on almost all other types of public transport in Athens, and you can read more about all the types of tickets sold in these machines in the relevant article via the link in the description. As tourists, the following three types of tickets are likely to be the most useful for you. The first is an unlimited 5-day ticket costing €8.20, which will allow you to travel freely around Athens, switching between metro lines, transferring from the metro to buses, from buses to trolleybuses, from trolleybuses to trams, as much as you like for 5 days. The second, the so-called tourist ticket, also offers unlimited travel for 3 days, but in addition includes one trip to Athens Airport on the Blue Metro line or on one of the buses on routes X95, X96, or X97, which run from various points in Athens to the airport. This was explained in more detail in the corresponding video about Athens transport connections with Athens National Airport, and the cost of this ticket is €20. You can also buy a special ticket at these machines or at the ticket offices, with 1 or 2 trips only to Athens Airport by metro or bus. Accordingly, the ticket price for a metro trip to the airport is €9, or 16 if you want a return journey. The ticket price for the X95, X96, or X97 bus routes to the airport is €6. Athens buses. Unlike the metro, they are not known for their reliability. Sometimes they arrive late, and at times they might not show up at all. Therefore, you shouldn't rely on them. Nevertheless, if you find yourself in the city centre, some of the bus routes can be extremely useful. For example, bus number 550 passes by the Athens National Art Gallery, the Evangelismos metro station, and the Athens Olympic Stadium Kalamamaro, heading towards the southern suburbs of the city, and in particular, reaching the Stavros Niarchos National Park of Culture and Recreation. The nearest stop to the city centre for the 550 bus is located next to the Swedish Embassy, opposite the Olympic Stadium Kalamamaro on King Constantinos Avenue. Bus number A2 runs from the eastern seaside suburb of Vula to the splendid Academia Square, where you'll find three rather significant city landmarks: the neoclassical buildings of the University of Athens, the National Academy, and the National Library of Greece. And the nearest stop of this bus to the city centre is at Syntagma Square, right opposite the exit from the former Royal Garden. Bus number 608 runs from the student campus in the northeast of Athens through the central districts of the city to its northwestern suburbs. The 608 bus passes through Evangelismos metro station, stops at Syntagma, and then heads northwest via Academias and Ammonia squares. It can also be useful if you want to travel between Syntagma and Ammonia. You can catch the 608 bus not far from the Greek Parliament building on Queen Sophia Avenue. Buses A5, 221 and 220, which also stop roughly in the same place on Queen Sophia Avenue, not far from the Greek Parliament building, can also take you from Syntagma Square to Academia Square. Athens trolleybuses. I have a personal grudge against them, because they never show up at the stop when I need them, and they pass by in droves when I have absolutely no use for them. Trolleybuses numbered 2, 4, and 11 pass by the National Archaeological Museum, go through Ammonia Square and the Square of Tears, which you can read more about in my Athens guidebook. Trolleybus number 5, meanwhile, goes through Syntagma Square and heads off towards the southern suburbs of Athens. Among other things, it can take you to the Stavros Niarchos National Park, one of the most beautiful and well-maintained parks in the city. The Athens Tram is probably the second most punctual form of public transport in the Greek capital, after the Athens Metro. Perhaps this is because there are only 2 tram routes in Athens. The first of them, number 6, can take you from Syntagma Square to the seaside suburb of Glyfada. At a certain point, it turns onto the beautiful Aegean Sea promenade, and your journey on this tram becomes a kind of little excursion. The second tram, number 7, at a certain point will turn not east, but west, and will take you from the same Syntagma Square to the port city of Piraeus, from which, as has been mentioned many times, ferries depart to all the Greek islands. And besides all that, if you're one of those daredevils who make thrilling parachute jumps from the stratosphere to the ground or climb Everest 15 times, you might well enjoy the Athens electric scooter, which you can rent by downloading a special app. There are actually several of these apps, since in Athens there are 2, or maybe even 3, types of electric scooters. I can't really say much about them, because I'm an extremely timid person and I would never in my life, for any amount of money, get on one of those monstrous contraptions, especially in Athens. Follow the instructions, dear friends, don't break the traffic rules, buy your tickets, and read good guidebooks. And until we meet again on the next journey.